Well, it's time to get that trailer out from storage and get it ready for the new camping season.
And we're going to share with you our steps for dewinterizing a travel trailer from its months of being in storage, and then doing a little bit of preventative maintenance and upkeep so that you're ready for your next camping adventure.
That's right. There are some steps that are for any travel trailer, and then there's some steps that are specific to the type of trailer and gear that you have. Let's get into it. Let's have a look at the cover. It looks like we have some rips in it. We have had a lot of snow this winter, and the weight of it ripped the cover at the edge of the air conditioner. We'll have to repair that before we use it again. Let's install the batteries so we have some power. As part of our installing the batteries, we also attach the leads to our TPMS signal booster. Now that we have some power, let's turn on the lights and look inside. We want to make sure all the lights are working, and it's a good time to look around and see if any critters have been inside. We're looking for any chewing damage or mouse droppings. Have a good look around into storage spaces and corners. We left our fridge open during storage to prevent mold from developing. We used some clips that came with the fridge to prevent it from accidentally closing. So now we'll close the fridge and freezer. We'll secure everything inside so we're ready to travel. It's a good time to inspect the tires. It's normal to lose a few pounds of pressure over the winter, so we'll pump up the tires to the recommended settings.
Now's a good time to have a look at the tread and see if you have good tread and if it's wearing evenly. If it's an uneven wear, you got to be concerned about that. Is that a problem with the axle? Is that a problem with the spindle? Not really sure what that is, so you're going to have to look into that. So ours look like we've checked them all. It looks like they're wearing evenly now, which is a really nice change for us. So we're good to go.
It's a good time to remove the valve stem caps and install the TPMS sensors. We took the TPMS sensors off for the winter to take them home and store inside. Let's hook up and head home.
So we have the trailer all set up in our driveway. Now let's sanitize the water system. We do that by closing the pipes going into the tank by turning the handle perpendicular to the pipes. We open the bypass by turning the handle parallel to the pipe. Now all water will bypass the water heater. First thing to do is to get rid of the plumbing antifreeze that we put in last fall. We'll open the low point drains, then open the taps inside. Most of the antifreeze will drain out. If you blew out the lines instead of using plumbing antifreeze, it's still good to do this to get rid of any stagnant water that might still be in the pipes. We use a bleach and water solution of 1/4 cup of bleach per 15 gallons of water. Our trailer has a 48-gallon freshwater tank, so we'll use just over 3/4 of a cup of bleach. We don't want to pour full-strength bleach into our water system, so we'll dilute it into our 5-gallon water jug that we use for filling up at a park. That way we're also sanitizing our water jug. Once it's full, then pour it into the freshwater tank. For filling the freshwater tank, we use a hose that is drinking water safe, such as a 0G like this, or a white RV water hose. We'll fill up the freshwater tank. Then we'll turn on the water pump, and it should be noisy as it pressurizes the system. It should stop shortly. If it seems to be running for longer than a normal time, turn off the pump and inspect for water leaks. If there are no leaks, it should just turn off in about a minute. Now go around to every tap and turn them on one at a time until there's no more antifreeze and you smell bleach. You can also do that to the toilet. Now just be aware, if you do that, the bleach may neutralize the enzymes that are in the chemicals in your black tank. We do it knowing that we'll be dumping our black tank at the first park we go to get all the leftover black water and the bleach water out of the system then. We always use some water in the black tank, even when storing it over the winter. You never want your black tank to run dry. We'll put new black tank chemicals in when we add a little bit of water at the first park. You should leave the bleach water in the tank for 8 to 12 hours. It's been 8 hours now, so we'll turn off the water pump and open a tap to relieve the pressure. We'll then open up the fresh water tank and let the water drain out. We'll open the low point drains with the tap open so they drain out. Close everything and let's fill the tank with fresh water and turn on the pump. Once it's full, we'll run a bunch of water through the pipes to get out all the bleach water solution. Be mindful of how much water you're putting in the gray tank if weight is an issue for you. We'll be draining the tank at the first park of the season that we go to, so we know we're going to be carrying that water from our home to the first park. Once you put some water through all the pipes and you don't smell bleach anymore, you can turn off the pump and drain your fresh tank. It's up to you if you want to do a second filling and emptying, but I think one is good enough for us. I like to open the drain plug in the hot water tank. If yours is the kind with an anode rod, you can inspect it to see if it needs to be replaced. Ours is just a plug. I'll rinse out the tank with this wand to get rid of any water or sediment that might have been sitting in the bottom of the tank. After you have the water bleach solution in your pipes and you're waiting to drain, you've got plenty of time to do some upkeep and maintenance. Inspect your caulking all around the outside of the trailer. If there's any cracked or missing caulking, clean the area and re-caulk. As I was going around and inspecting the caulking, I found that on the fender here, the caulking got pretty chewed up. Not sure how it got so chewed up. I think it's because the fender really flaps a lot as we're traveling down the road. Now, I've already caulked this about 2 years ago, and so I'm going to be re-caulking it. When I did caulk it, I used the ProFlex RV sealant, and this stuff allows you to caulk over it, so it will adhere to itself. If it's the original caulking that came with your trailer, it probably won't adhere to it, so then you're going to have to remove all the old caulking. This area, I don't have to remove all the old caulking. I'm going to remove the bigger chunks, things like that, but I don't have to get it right down clean, removing all the caulking, because it will adhere to it. Now on this side of the trailer, it's a little different. The rubber seal where it attached to the trailer here, the caulking has come undone, and this is the original caulking from the trailer. I've never caulked this before. So what we need to do is remove all this original caulking because the new stuff won't adhere to it. So we have to remove it, clean the area so we can put the fresh stuff down. I did a video on that last year, how to seal your RV walls, so you can check out that video. Inspect all the caulking on the roof. The roof is often in direct sunlight for a lot of the time, and that can dry out the caulking and make it crack. Inspect all the edges and around anything that comes through the roof. If you find areas that need to be re-caulked, do so. I recommend doing that 3 times a year, when dewinterizing in the spring, in the middle of the season, and when winterizing in the fall. When fixing up the caulking on the roof, you want to clean the area. You want to remove any of the old stuff if it's loose and falling apart. If it's still holding in place, that's fine. You can leave it there. Get a self-leveling lap sealant and you can put it over top and it will fill in the spaces. Now that everything is cured, we like to give the trailer a good washing. After the trailer's nice and clean, let's lubricate some moving parts like the awning arms and door hinges. If you have a rack and pinion type of slide like ours, we'll lubricate these arms. Then I like to condition the slide out seals. You just spray it on, wait a few minutes, and wipe it off. Make sure you get both sides of it. Check the propane tanks, see if any are empty and need to be refilled. It's good to get that done before the season starts. Turn on the propane tanks and then listen and smell for any leaks. If you detect a leak, turn off the tanks immediately and try to determine where the leak is. If you feel comfortable in fixing it yourself, go ahead and do that. If you don't, take it to a service technician and get it fixed professionally.
Ben does most of the outdoor stuff and I do the indoor stuff. Now that the propane tanks are opened, let's turn on the furnace and make sure it works. It will first start with just the blower. We want to wait to ensure the furnace ignites and it starts blowing heat. Let's turn on the fridge. If you have an electric propane fridge, first turn it on to propane and see if it ignites. You'll hear a clicking sound. That's the igniter creating a spark to ignite the propane. You'll hear once it ignites. Once it's ignited, you'll know it's the propane part that's working. Now let's switch to auto mode. In auto mode, it will automatically switch to 120 volt power when plugged into the shore power. If no shore power, it'll go into propane mode. If no propane, it'll show a fault and you'll have to figure out what the problem is. If you have a 12 volt fridge, which is more common in the newer trailers, just turn it on and make sure it works. As long as the trailer battery is installed, it should work. I would normally clean the fridge with a soapy water vinegar solution, but the fridge remained pretty clean over the winter, so I will skip that for now. Now it's time to load up the trailer with our seasonal gear. I bring in and put the bedding on and blankets on the couch. I stock the pantry with basics that come on every trip plus the food for our first trip. I stock the fridge with the basics for our first trip. I stock the bathroom with toilet paper and fill up the medicine cabinet. I put some items in the over-door organizer, which is actually just a shoe rack. I'll bring in our ice machine, paper products, Jack's toys, and blankets. We'll both load up our clothes for the first trip. So when we're mostly packed up, just before we leave, I will wipe down all the surfaces and vacuum and wash the floors. Now that we've done all that, we are ready for our first camping trip of the season.
Join us for our next video, which is going to be Season 7, Episode 2, Pinehurst Conservation Area.
Oh, yeah.
See you then.
See ya.